Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Yogah karmasu kaushalam.
Dear students, I am Dr. Komal Rawal from Somlalit College of Commerce, Gujarat University. Today we are going to discuss about accounting for non-trading concern. In previous sessions, we have studied about point 1, preparation of income expenditure account from receipt payment account. Point 2, receipt payment is real account and its applicable rule. Point 3, income expenditure account and its applicable rule. Point 4, points to be considered to prepare income expenditure account from receipts and payment account. Point 5, illustrations with partial information for preparation of income expenditure account from receipt and payment accounts. Point 6, illustration with full information for identification of revenue incomes and expenses from receipts payment account. Point 7, accounting effect of adjustments to income expenditure account and balance sheet. Till part 5, we have studied 8 illustrations, and in continuation of this, we will discuss other illustrations on preparation of income expenditure account from receipts and payment account with different situations. When receipt and payment account along with additional information is given and rest of the basic statements are to be prepared, generally non-trading concern annual accounts deal with income expenditure account and balance sheet. But to complete this balance sheet, the figure of capital fund in the beginning is required. To calculate information about capital fund in the beginning, balance sheet at the beginning of the period should be prepared. Thus, to solve the examination problems, it is suggested to prepare the given simultaneously. In that, there are few points. The first is balance sheet at the beginning of the period. It is possible that sometime opening capital fund is not provided in the question, but information is provided, and from that information we have to select all the items in the form of assets, liabilities pertaining of opening balance sheet. Put all the assets and liabilities in the balance sheet, and balancing figure will be your opening capital fund. Point 2, income and expenditure account for the period under consideration. For preparation of income and expenditure account, all revenue, income and expenses of current year are to identified from receipt and payment account if given and from given information. Point 3 is balance sheet at the end of the period. All the relevant assets and liabilities are to be disclosed in closing balance sheet. This information will be available from opening balance sheet and additional information of given question. Now we will see illustration 9. In previous session we have already discussed 8 illustrations. Today we are going to start with illustration 9. From the given receipt and payment account and additional information, prepare income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st March 2024 and balance sheet as on that date. Prepare receipt and payment account. On receipt side, write down to balance brought down in column opening balance of cash and bank amount 20,500. Next, to subscription 2022 and 23 write down in inner column 800, 23, 24 42,200, 24, 25 1,600. Total amount in the outer column 44,600. Next, to income from charity show 41,000. To interest on investment at 10% for full year 20,000, and the total of receipt column is 1,26,100. Now come to the payment side. The first in that is buy salaries 41,600. By stationery 8,000. By computer 25,000. By sundry expenses, in that write down in bracket including insurance of rupees 12,000. Now outer column 14,000. By telephone expenses 18,500. By expenses on charity show 10,000. By balance CD, write down in bracket closing balance of cash and bank, bracket close, in outer column 9,000, and the total of payment side is 1,26,100. Now write down additional information. A, in that total number of members 225, annual subscription 200 per member, subscription outstanding on 1st April 2023 rupees 1,000. B point, stock of stationery on 1st April 2023 rupees 1,000. On 31st March 2024 rupees 1,800. C point, balance of building on 1st April 2023 was rupees 40,000. Charge depreciation on building at 20%. Point D, reserve as on 1st April 2024 10,000. E, at the end of the year, the insurance for 1 quarter were outstanding, the yearly charge being rupees 12,000. Now you will see the answer. We will commence with adjustments first. First, you are asked to prepare income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st March 2024 and balance sheet as on that date, and you are provided receipt and payment account as well as additional information. Point 2, we don't have balance of opening fund, that is capital. From given information, first of all, we will a certain amount of opening fund capital for opening balance sheet. All related figure will be shown in balance sheet and balancing figure will be our opening capital fund. Opening balance of receipt and payment account would appear in opening balance sheet rupees 20,500. Third point is now explanation of adjustment. Total number of members 225. Annual subscription rupees 200 per member. Subscription outstanding on 1st April 2023 rupees 1,000. Point 1, total members are 225 and from each member annual subscription of rupees 200 is receivable. Thus, rupees 225 member, rupees 200, that is 45,000 are receivable in receipt side of receipt and payment account. Rupees 42,200 are received for current year. Rupees 2,800 are outstanding and it would appear in closing balance sheet in asset side. In income and expenditure account, rupees 45,000 will be shown, 42,200 received plus outstanding 2,800. Point 2, subscription of previous year 2022-23 rupees 800 received in current year, but in adjustment outstanding was rupees 1,000. It means remaining rupees 200 yet to be received. This rupees 200 would appear in closing balance sheet in asset side, outstanding subscription of 2022-23 rupees 200. Point 3, in receipt and payment account, subscription of next year, that is 2024-25 is received in advance. It is a liability of the company, would appear in balance sheet liability side, subscription received in advance. We will explain point 4, explanation of adjustment B. Stock of stationery on 1st April 2023 rupees 1,000, on 31st March 24 1,800. In that the first point is we have opening and closing stock of stationery rupees 1,000 and rupees 1,800 respectively, and purchase during the year rupees 8,000 is given. In receipt and payment account, in income and expenditure account, rupees 7,200 will be shown. Opening stock rupees 1,000 plus purchases rupees 8,000 less closing stock rupees 1,800. Point 2, opening stock of stationery rupees 1,000 would appear like stock of goods in the asset side of opening balance sheet. Point 3. Closing stock of stationery of rupees 1800 would appear like stock of goods in the asset side of closing balance sheet. Point 5. Explanation for adjustment C. Balance of building on 1st April 2023 was of rupees 40,000. Charge depreciation on building at 20%. In that, the first point is opening balance of building rupees 40,000 would appear in balance sheet, in opening balance sheet after deduction of depreciation rupees 8,000 at 20% on rupees 40,000, rupees 32,000 would appear in closing balance sheet. Point 2. Further, depreciation rupees 8,000 would appear in the expenditure side of income and expenditure account. Point 6. Explanation of adjustment D. Reserves as on 1st April 2023 rupees 10,000. Opening balance of reserve rupees 10,000 would appear in opening and closing balance in the liability side. 7th point, explanation for adjustment E. At the end of the year, the insurance for 1 quarter were outstanding, the yearly charge being rupees 12,000. First point, sundry expenses of rupees 14,000 are inclusive of rupees 12,000 of insurance. In income and expenditure account, rupees 2,000 will be shown as sundry expenses in expenditure side. Point 2. Rupees 12,000 are pertaining to insurance expenses, but yearly charges are rupees 12,000. Thus, quarterly will be rupees 3,000. Outstanding of current year of 1 quarter will be rupees 3,000. But we have paid rupees 12,000. It means in this rupees 12,000, rupees 3,000 are paid of previous year. In opening balance sheet, rupees 3,000 would appear in liability side, and in the same manner rupees 3,000 would appear in closing balance sheet liability side. Point 8. Implied adjustment. Interest received on 10% investment rupees 10,000 during the year. It means opening balance of investment rupees 2 lakh. If rupees 20,000 interest is received at 10%, the value of investments will be rupees 2 lakh, which means 20,000 into 100 divided by 10. This will be disclosed in opening and closing balance sheet. 10% investment of rupees 2 lakh. Let us see opening balance sheet. Balance sheet as on 31st March 2023 or 1st April 2023. Now prepare balance sheet, liability side amount, asset and amount. First we will write on liability side. The first one in that, capital fund 2,49,500. Reserves 10,000. Insurance outstanding 3,000. The total of liability side is 2,62,500. Now come to the asset side. First one in that is cash at bank. Write down in bracket opening balance of cash, amount 20,500. Next, subscription outstanding rupees 1,000. Stock of stationery 1,000. Investments 2 lakh. Building 40,000. Total of asset side is 2,62,500. Now, with the help of receipt and payment account, additional information and opening balance sheet will prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet. Now prepare income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st March 2024. Write down on debit side expenditure amount and on credit side income amount. Now on expenditure side, write down to salaries 41,600. To stationery consumed, write down in bracket 1,000 plus 8,000 minus 1,800, outer column 7,200. To telephone expenses 18,500. To rates 12,000. To sundry expenses 2,000. To depreciation on building 8,000. To expenses on charity show 10,000. To excess of income over expenditure 6,700. Total of expenditure side is 1,06,000. Now come to the income side. First in that, by subscription received for 23-24, write down in inner column 42,200. Add outstanding for 23-24, again in bracket 45,000 minus 42,200, close the bracket, 2,800. Now in the outer column 45,000. Buy income from charity show 41,000. Buy interest on investment 20,000. Total of income side is 1,06,000. Now prepare balance sheet as on 31st March 2024. Again prepare liability side, amount, asset and amount. First we will see liability side. In that the first one is capital fund in bracket opening. Write down in inner column 2,49,500. Add excess of income 6,700. To the outer column 2,56,200. Reserves 10,000. Subscription received in advance 1,600. Insurance outstanding 3,000. Total of liability side is 2,70,800. Come to the asset side. In that the first is cash at bank, rupees 9,000. Subscription outstanding for the year 2022-23, 200 in the inner column. For the year 23-24, 2,800. Now the total in the outer column rupees 3,000. Stock of stationery 1,800. 10% investment 2 lakh. Computer 25,000. Building in the inner column 40,000 less depreciation 8,000, 32,000 in the outer column. Total of asset side is 2,70,800. In non-trading concern, we have studied 9 illustrations. If dear students you are having any query, you can ask me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah?
Where will you disclose opening and closing balance of cash balance in annual accounts other than receipts and payments accounts?
Very good question by you. Now my answer to your question is cash balance is a real account. It is an asset. Opening balance would appear in the asset side of opening balance sheet and closing cash balance would appear in closing balance sheet in the asset side. Now let us see another question of the same type with some modifications. Illustration 10. The receipt and payment account of a club for the year ending 31st March 2024 is given to you. Prepare receipt and payment account. On receipt side, write down first to balance brought down in bracket opening balance of cash and bank, outer column 27,500. To donations 2,08,000. To subscription 1,48,900. To entrance fees 24,000. To interest on investment 26,600. To surplus from matches 54,000. Total of receipt account is 4,89,000. Now come to the payment side. First one in that is by salaries 95,000. By subscription for newspapers and magazines 24,000. By sundry expenses 58,000. By investments 2 lakh. By balance CD, closing balance of cash and bank 1,12,000. Total of payment side is 4,89,000. Now you are required to prepare income and expenditure account for the year 23-24 and the balance sheet as on 31st March 24 on the basis of following additional information. Point A. Subscription for newspapers etc. included rupees 4,000 paid for the year 22-23 and rupees 6,000 for the year 24-25. Point B. Half of the amount of entrance fees and 40% of surplus from matches is to be transferred to building fund. Building fund on 1st April 2023 amounted to rupees 60,000. Point C. Donations received are to be capitalized. Point D. Subscription received included rupees 1,000 for the year 2024 and 25 and rupees 4,000 for the year 22-23. Point E. Other assets on 1st April 23 were as follow. First in that club building rupees 2,84,000. Second, furniture rupees 64,000. Third, investment rupees 60,000. F in that, depreciate building and furniture at 10%. Now, answer of this question, we will commence with adjustments first. First, you are asked to prepare income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st March 2024 and balance sheet as on that date. And for this purpose, you are provided receipt and payment account as well as additional information. Point 2, we don't have balance of opening fund, that is capital. From given information, first of all, we will ascertain amount of opening fund capital. For opening balance sheet, all related figures will be shown in balance sheet and balancing figure will be our opening fund capital. Opening balance of receipt and payment account would appear in opening balance sheet rupees 27,500. Explanation for adjustments. A adjustment, subscription for newspaper etc. included rupees 4,000 paid for the year 22-23 and rupees 6,000 for the year 24-25. First, subscription for newspapers and magazines paid in cash rupees 24,000. Now see payment side of receipt and payment account, it is an expense. But this payment include amount rupees 4,000 of previous year 22-23 will be deducted and same will be shown as a liability of previous year in the balance sheet of 31st March 23. It means balance sheet of 1st April 2023. Point 2. Further, this rupees 24,000 includes advance payment of 24-25 rupees 6,000 will be deducted and same will be shown in closing balance sheet in asset side, advance payment subscription of newspaper. Point 3. Thus, final amount of subscription for newspapers and magazines will be shown in income expenditure account rupees 14,000. Rupees 25,000 less 4,000 of 22-23 and less 6,000 of 24-25. Explanation of adjustment 4. B in that half of the amount of entrance fees and 40% of the surplus from matches is to be transferred to building fund. Building fund on 1st April 2023 amounted to rupees 60,000. First point in that, entrance fees is received rupees 24,000. See receipt side of receipt and payment account. As per the instructions, half amount of entrance fees rupees 12,000 will be added to building fund, which is rupees 60,000 in the beginning of the year. The remaining entrance fees of rupees 12,000 will be added to capital fund. Point 2. This rupees 60,000 will appear in opening balance sheet and closing balance sheet as well. Point 3. Surplus from matches rupees 54,000 is revenue income, but according to instructions, 40% of it will be transferred to building fund rupees 21,600 and the remaining amount will be shown income side of income and expenditure account. Now we will see the explanation of adjustment number 5, C point. Donation received are to be capitalized rupees 2,08,000. As per the instructions, full amount of donation will be added to capital fund rupees 2,08,000. Explanation of adjustment 6, D point in that subscription received included rupees 1,000 for the year 24-25 and rupees 4,000 for the year 22-23. First point in that subscription is revenue income and during the year rupees 1,48,900 are received. You can see in the receipt side of receipt and payment accounts. It is an income, but this receipt includes amount of rupees 1,000 of previous year, that is 22-23 will be deducted and same will be shown as a receivable amount of previous year in the balance sheet of 31st March 23. This means balance sheet of 1st April 2023. Point 2. Further, this rupees 1,48,900 includes advance subscription of 24-25 rupees 4,000 will be deducted, and same will be shown in closing balance sheet in the liability side, subscription received in advance. Point 3. Thus, final amount of subscription will be shown in income and expenditure account, rupees 1,43,900, which means 1,48,900 less 1,000 of 22-23 and less 4,000 of 24 and 25. Now we will discuss 7th adjustment. E point in that other assets on 1st April 2023 were: first, club building 2,84,000, second, furniture 64,000, third, investment 60,000. All these assets will be shown in opening and closing balance sheet. Explanation of adjustment number 8. F in that depreciate building and furniture at 10%. First point in that, in closing balance sheet, from building of rupees 2,84,000, 10% depreciation of rupees 28,400 will be deducted, and from furniture rupees 64,000, 10% depreciation of rupees 6,400 will be deducted, and net amount of building and furniture would appear in closing balance sheet. Point 2. Same amount of depreciation of building rupees 28,400 and of furniture rupees 6,400 will be shown as expense, debit side of income and expenditure account. Now let us see the opening balance sheet, income and expenditure account and closing balance sheet in order. Let us see opening balance sheet. Balance sheet as on 1st April 23-24. Liability side, outstanding subscription for newspapers and magazines rupees 4,000, building fund 60,000, capital fund 3,75,500, total of liability side 4,39,500. Now come to the asset side, cash at bank 27,500, subscription outstanding 4,000, investments 60,000, furniture 64,000, building 2,84,000. Total of asset side is 4,39,500. Now, with the help of receipt and payment account, additional information and opening balance sheet will prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet. Prepare income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st March 23-24. Expenditure side, 2 salaries 95,000, 2 subscription for newspapers and magazine etc. Write down in inner column 24,000. Less of previous year 4,000, again less of next year 6,000. Total of this is 14,000 in the outer column. 2 sundry expense 58,000. 2 depreciation on furniture 6,400. 2 depreciation on building 28,400. 2 excess of income over expenditure 13,100. Total of this is 2,14,900. Now come to the income side. By subscription, write down in inner column 1,48,900, less of previous year 1,000, less of next year 4,000. Write down in the outer column 1,43,900. By entrance fees in bracket 50% of rupees 24,000, outer column 12,000. By surplus from matches 60% of rupees 54,000, that is 32,400 in the outer column. By interest on investment 26,600. Total of this is 2,14,900. Now balance sheet as on 31st March 23-24. First we will see liability side. Liabilities, capital fund opening in the inner column 3,75,500. Add donation 2,08,000. Add excess of income 13,100. In the outer column, write down 5,96,600. Building fund opening in the inner column 60,000. Add entrance fees 12,000. Add surplus from matches 21,600. Outer column 93,600. Subscription received in advance 1,000. Total of liability side 6,91,600. Now come to the asset side. Furniture 64,000. Write down this in the inner column. Now less depreciation of rupees 6,400. To the outer column 57,600. Building in the inner column 2,84,000. Less depreciation of rupees 28,400. In the outer column 2,55,600. Investment inner column 60,000. Add purchased of rupees 2 lakh. Outer column 2,60,000. Cash at bank 1,12,000. Advance subscription for newspaper and magazine rupees 6,000. Total of asset side is 6,91,200. Yes students, we have discussed 10 illustrations from this topic. If you are having any query or any question, you can ask me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
How to deal with subscription received of previous year during current year?
Very good question by you. So the answer to your question is, in case of subscription received of previous year, it would appear in receipt and payment account in receipt side, because all receipt and payment of any year are recorded in receipt and payment account, but would not appear in income and expenditure account because it is not income of current year. In this part 6, we have studied 2 illustrations. These 2 illustrations had explained the process to prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet from receipt and payment account, and additional information or adjustments for concerned accounting year. Let us recollect some important issues. The first in that is, first of all, we should deal with all the adjustments which are given in the question, and then accounting treatment should be given. For example, receipt and payment account records all capital and revenue receipts, and payment of all the year means of current year, previous year, next year. But for income and expenditure account, we have considered transactions of current year and only of revenue nature. Income and expenditure account is prepared under accrual basis, and accordingly relevant transactions are to be identified from receipt and payment account as well as from additional informations. Point 2 in that is, there can be some expenses which may have their opening stock, closing stock and purchases. For example, opening stock, closing stock and purchase of a stationery. In such type of cases, first, opening stock will appear in opening balance sheet. Second, closing stock would appear in closing balance sheet. And then, determination of stationery expenses of current year, all the 3 components, opening stock, closing stock and purchase will be taken into account. Stationery expense of current year, which to be shown in income and expenditure account, that is opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. Point 3, there can be implied adjustment as well, and it is appropriate effect is to be given. For example, interest of 12 month received rupees 10,000 on 10% investment. Here, amount of investment is not given. Further, interest is received for 1 complete year. Amount of investment is 10,000 into 100 divided by 10, which will come to rupees 1 lakh. This will be used for opening and closing balance sheet if required. These issues we have discussed in illustration 9 and 10. In part 7, we will meet with some other illustrations covering different issues. Keep on refreshing part 1 to 6 for desirable clarity. I hope you like the session. Thank you and have a nice day.